Hey there, Amazon entrepreneurs. It's Andy Craig again, back with golden tips that will turn your Amazon ads into a powerhouse of profitability. Are you feeling the pinch of high ACoS campaigns that are draining your budgets or not getting sales at all, making your profits almost invisible? You're not alone, but today that changes. If this is your first time watching my videos, I've been selling on Amazon for years, and I have an Amazon advertising agency where we help brands increase their profits on Amazon through strategic advertising. Now, today in this video, we're diving deep into the nitty-gritty of bid optimization, unveiling strategies that ensure your products not only get seen, but convert viewers into loyal buyers while keeping profits in mind. So what you want to do when you're doing manual bid optimizations in Campaign Manager, you want to jump into your Seller Central account, go to Menu, you're going to go down to Advertising, and click on Campaign Manager. Now, in this video, I'm really going to cover just sponsored product bid optimizations. That's going to be the majority of all your bid optimizations anyways. And sponsor brand and display, I want to show you exactly how to do that first. I like to use this targeting tab for all of my sponsored product bid optimizations when I'm doing it manually. I do everything in bulk files and with other tools available, but doing it manually in here with sponsored products and display, what you can do is just filter by, and then we're going to go ahead and go to type, and then there's sponsored brands and sponsor display. So I'll go ahead and single those out. And once I do that, I'll go ahead and right click and open each individual campaign into a new tab. And I'll do that across all my sponsor brand and sponsor display campaigns so I could adjust them individually. Now for sponsored products, you could do it quite a bit quicker, and you could do it here in your targeting tab. And another way, you want to adjust your placement modifiers too. And the best way to do that is the same way to open up every campaign and adjust those placement modifiers. I'm not going to go over that in this video. I've gone over it in other videos, and it's much faster to do in bulk files. And this is something maybe you'll do bulk file optimizations once a week, and then you'll come through and just do a quick sponsor product optimization throughout the week. All right, so let's jump into the targeting tab and walk through the steps. Now, what I did is I just made a quick report on the steps that you could take. So go ahead and take a screenshot of this, pause the video. And step number one, what I like to do is pause my keywords, pause things that need to be paused, right? Orders equals 0. And I like to say around 2.5x of my click limit. Now my click limit, it depends on my conversion rate. So basically, if you have a 10% conversion rate, that takes you 10 clicks to get a sale. How did I figure that out? What you want to do is 1 divided by your conversion rate or your unit session percentage. Now I like to go after my ads conversion rate, not just my entire unit session percentage, because that really takes into a lot of branded search and all that kind of stuff. But basically 1 divided by that unit session percentage or that conversion rate is going to tell you how many clicks or sessions it takes to get a sale. So with the PPC conversion rate minus 10%, so it's going to take me around 10 sessions or 10 clicks to get a sale. So 2.5x of that would be 25 clicks. So basically with 25 clicks and no orders, I'm going to go ahead and pause a keyword. So I'm going to walk through and show you exactly how I would filter that out. So once we're in here, these are all my sponsored product ads. What I want to do is go filter by. The first filter I'm going to do is active status here. I only want to look at my enabled target. So I'm going to say enabled, and I'm going to leave that on for the rest of this bid optimization today. The next filter I'm going to do is the orders equals 0. So I'm going to click on orders, go equals, and then 0 here. Now that I have orders equals 0, I want to look for those clicks above 25. So I'm going to say clicks greater than or equal to, I'll do greater than or equal to 25. Now this really depends on how often you're looking at this. Click apply. If you're looking at this, every 30 days, this may be a good thing to do, but some keywords are going to gather data quicker than others. So you want to look at this on a frequent basis to make sure no keywords are taken off on you. A good way to do that is to just sort by spend high to low, and that'll show you which keywords are spending a ton of money or getting a ton of clicks. Now, as you can see, these are already paused. Looks like the campaign was paused altogether on this one. That's why it's showing details paused here. It says you paused this campaign. So that campaign altogether is paused. All right. But basically, if I want to look through these targets, if they are either completely irrelevant or just spending way too much money and not one of my best keywords, I want to pause them. If they are one of my best keywords, I want to dig in to figure out why it's performing like that. Right, you can jump into the campaign, possibly look at the placements. Is it showing up more in one placement than the others? Maybe I'll adjust the bid modifiers before I pause it and try to diagnose why one of my best keywords isn't performing. All right, so this is the first step. You go ahead and pause anything with high clicks. Now, depending on your threshold for spend and for clicks, you may want to adjust this down. If let's say you have a 5% conversion rate, or if you just want to be a little bit less aggressive, you could use less clicks to get a sale, or you could do a spend limit instead of a click limit. I like to base it on data and use the conversion rate as kind of an overall metric to adjust all my bidding rules. All right, so jumping back over here, the next step would be orders equals 0 greater than my click limit. So basically, that would be greater than 10, because if a 10% conversion rate, my click limit would be around 10. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come up with thresholds of clicks. So basically, from 10 to 25, I want to adjust my bids a certain way. So if they're greater than my click limit, I want to decrease the bid, but it depends how many clicks I have. So usually from say 11 to 15 clicks, maybe I'm going to decrease my bid a little bit. Maybe I'll drop it 5%, or if it's from say 15 to 20, maybe I'll drop it 10%. If it's 20 to 25, maybe I'm going to drop it, 20%. So depending on how many clicks I have, I'm going to adjust my bid differently, and depending on my overall strategy. But that's just a generic way to do it. It also depends on how much spend I may have had on that keyword. All right. So how do we do that? Let's start to go back into it and adjust those click limits. Now it's a little bit, different, because I can't run multiple click filters all at the same time. If I go filter by clicks again, it's just going to bring me back to the same one. I can't say between two numbers. So what I'll do is I'll just say less than 25 clicks, orders equal 0, and I'm going to go ahead and adjust it this way. All right, so now we can see everything less than 25 clicks. We can filter by clicks high to low, so I could really start to optimize them with each other. So I'm going to go clicks, and it's also going to bring me 0 clicks in here as well. So you can either filter those out or just leave them in and don't optimize them here. I could, by filtering those out, I could just say spend is greater than 0, because you can't have a click without spending any money. But basically what I want to do is start to go through here. Okay, say 20 to 25, maybe I'm going to drop it, 20, 25, 30%, whatever I want to do. I could say if I have multiple, I can click multiple, or I could just adjust the bid. Now, when I'm dropping it, I'm not actually dropping the bid by 25%. I'm dropping the cost per click by 25%. So the bid and the cost per click are different. The bid is what you're telling Amazon that you're willing to pay for a click, depending on what bidding strategy you use. But we'll get into that in another video. And your cost per click is what you actually paid. It is ad spend divided by ad clicks. And that's going to give that 57 cents. So if we take $13.11 divided by 23, we're going to get 57 cents. That's what you actually paid. So what I want to do is I want to drop this 57 cents by that 25, 30%, whatever I decide. All right. So I would just take that times, 0.7, which will drop it by 30%. And then I'll enter that into here, hit save, move on to the next one. So maybe for between 15 and 20 clicks, I'm going to drop it by 15, 20%. I'll go ahead and do that. And I'll go down to these next ones. Now, if you have multiple keywords in that section, there's a way to do multiple at a time, right? I could click on multiple keywords all at the same time and just go bulk actions, and go adjust bid. And you can go decrease by a percentage, and then just say 20%, 15%, whatever the percentage is, and quickly decrease those. I've already adjusted these. I'm not going to do it again. All right, so go all the way through until you get to, just above that 10 clicks. So when I hit 10 clicks or less, there's a different bidding strategy I'm going to use. We're going to get to step 3 here, orders equal 0, less than the impression limit with no clicks. We're going to go ahead and increase the bid on those. And the reason you want to do that is there's not enough data to work with. You don't have enough impressions, you don't have any clicks, and how can you optimize the bid if you don't have any data? Right? We don't want keywords sitting in there doing nothing. We want to get the data, and we want to, just not have them wasting our time. We want to test them and figure out if they're good. If they're not good, we'll get rid of them. If they are good, we'll keep them. And that really helps to grow your Amazon PPC account. What is my impression limit? Depends on how often you're optimizing this, how big your niche is. Let's just say if I'm going 30 days, maybe I'll go 300 impressions or less. I can say that. If I'm less than that with no clicks, I can go ahead and, raise my bids. So if I go less than, just like, oh, that's clicks. I'm sorry. Let's go equals 0 for the clicks. And then we'll go impressions, say less than, we can go with 300. Like I said, it depends on how often you're optimizing this, what period you're looking at. If you're going 30 days, then maybe 300 is good. If you're going over a week, maybe 50 or 100, something like that. So then what I'll do is just blanketly, I'll click on everything, and I'm just going to raise the bids on these. I'll just go bulk actions, adjust bid. Maybe I want to raise it by just a 10%. Depends on how often I'm doing this. If I'm only doing it once a week, maybe I'll get a little bit more aggressive and raise it 25 cents at a time. But if I'm going to go in here every couple of days and say, hey, did I get any impressions on these? If I didn't, go ahead and raise it. I could do it by just a dollar amount, a percentage amount. I like to use percentages just basically across everything, because 10 cents in this niche is way different than 10 cents in another niche. That's why I like to use that percentage, just to give that same kind of data focused incremental improvement. All right, so let's say 10, 15% increase. I'll go ahead and save changes, and then I'll do it again next time. And then over time, all of these should start to get impressions and clicks and spend and sales, hopefully. All right, so that's going to cover that. Let's jump back over to it here, and then we're gonna go orders equals 0 less than the click limit like I was a minute ago. The reason I'm going to do less than the click limit, like I said, is if you have not enough data, just like you didn't have enough impressions, if we're getting no orders and we haven't hit our click limit yet, that means we could still be in that around that 10% conversion rate for this keyword, and I need to give it a little bit more time. I don't want to decrease the bids. I may decrease them if they're spending too much money, if my cost per click is too high. So you want to come up with that too. Let's say I have a $20 product and I want a 50% ACoS. Basically, if with a $20 product, if I spend $10 in ads and I can get one sale, that's 50%. If I spend more than $10 in ads and I haven't got those sales yet, then I may be spending too much. I may want to start to decrease the bids on those. So that's something important to keep in mind. But if we're going off this data here, if we're less than the click limit, we want to increase the bids. So this all depends on your strategy. Let's go back to the campaigns, and we're going to go impressions. We're going to get rid of that because I only want to look at things with clicks. So we can go clicks less than, let's say 10. Apply. We're still at orders equals 0. And I don't want to adjust all those other ones again. So maybe I will say spend greater than 0. So that's going to give me only targets with clicks. So now I can go ahead and adjust all these because there's not enough data here. I've gotten clicks, but I haven't gotten any orders. Maybe I need some more clicks. And you can also look at that spend. Let's say, none of these are really hitting that $10 threshold, like I said. Now this product here that I'm actually going after, this is a $70 product. So I really can afford a lot more, spend before I get an order. So with this one, I'll let it go, past this. I'll let it get higher cost per clicks. Anyways, once again, you want to start to increase these bids, maybe do another percentage. Now this one has a little bit more data. The other ones just had impressions, but these ones I actually see a little bit of buyer intent because I'm getting clicks on them. That means people want to see them. So these keywords or these targets are showing me a little bit more relevancy. So I may increase these a little bit quicker. Maybe I'll increase them, 30 cents, 40 cents, depending on my average cost per click here. Here it's around, $1, $2. So maybe I'll increase it like 30, 40 cents to try to get more clicks and more data a little bit quicker. See if I can get that good conversion rate that I'm looking for. And this click-through rate is also some sort of indication, because what the click-through rate is, it's impressions divided by clicks. It tells us how many people have seen it with the impressions versus clicked on it. The higher that click-through rate is, that means it's most likely a more relevant keyword to the buyer intent. And then that's more likely going to get more clicks and hopefully conversions. All right. So keep that in mind when you're optimizing. Always base it off of that cost per click and not the actual bid. And, when you just blanketly adjust them like this, it's actually only going to increase the bid. So you want to keep that in mind. And a lot of times manually just go through and adjust them all. All right. So now that we did step 4 here, then we got step 5, orders greater than 0. We want to use the bid formula. Now I like to use the revenue per click times the target ACoS. I feel like that's a good bid formula. Cost per click divided by ACoS times target ACoS. That's the exact same thing. It's going to give you the same answer. Now, in general, as long as you increase your bid above your cost per click when you have a good ACoS and decrease your bid below your cost per click when you have a bad ACoS, you're going to get pretty good results as long as you don't drastically change them too much. You don't want to make huge increases or decreases. You want to kind of iteratively, go through that. And I do want to go into that next here. So there's different ways to do it. Now, when you're going through Campaign Manager, it's hard to use formulas because you're gonna have to do a formula for every single bid manually and then set the bid in there. It's much easier to do in bulk files using bid formulas. So this is another way you could do it. You could, run filters and say between, greater than 100% ACoS, maybe I want to use a percentage or a fixed bidding strategy. Now, my friend Mina Elias loves to use the iterative method. I've used it tons. It works just like any other bid formula. Raise the bids above the cost per click if my ACoS is good, lower the bids below my cost per click if my ACoS is bad. So basically you could just, set up a very similar chart, adjust it over time, and just optimize like this. It's much easier to do in Campaign Manager using it this way. But like I said, we have those bidding formulas that you could also use. So basically this is just going to give you what it would look like adjusting it towards a 40% target ACoS with these metrics here using this simple strategy over here, which is a very slow iterative method. So if you are having trouble with profitability, you may not want to do it quite as slow. You may want to do bigger adjustments at a time where these formulas will help you with. So getting back into it here, now we want to get rid of all this and we're going to do orders greater than 0. And a lot simpler, orders greater than 0. And what I like to do is just go ACoS high to low, and then I can just slowly adjust it based on that groups that I'm looking at. Oh, there's ACoS right there. So I'm going to click it twice. There's low to high, and then I'm going to go high to low. All right. And you see some of them that are really high. What I want to do is start to either either do them all at once here with this. Like I said, I like to use the cost per click in the bid when I'm adjusting ones. I want to look at the cost per click because that's what I'm actually paying. If I have a very high A cost and I lower my bid, but it's not lower than my cost per click, I'm not going to really affect change there. So you really want to look at the cost per click, look at the bid when you're making these decisions. Okay, so I want to get it all in the same frame here. So we got cost per click, we got bid, we got A cost. So this one, I want to make sure I'm lowering my bid below my cost per click. I can either use one of those formulas or manually adjust it here. Let's say for this one, I want to do anything above 100%. I have a 40% target A cost here. Let's say I want to drop it, I don't know, 50%. I want to drop my bids 50%, anything below 100. So I can go ahead and drop that to around 50 cents. And maybe anything between 70 and 100, I want to drop it 30%. So I'll go ahead and drop all these ones. Actually not these ones because these aren't 70%. Let's say anything between 70 and 50, maybe I want to drop the bids 20%. So I would go ahead, I can click all these ones and drop them, but really you want to look at the cost per click and manually, bring it down. So just go take each one of these, go times 0.8 times the cost per click, and that could be your bid. And then anything between 50 and 40, maybe I want to drop 10%. And then once I get below my target A cost of 40%, then I want to start to increase my bids. So getting down here, you can see over here, the 35%, 30%. So maybe anything between 40 and 30%, I want to increase my bids 10%. Anything between, let's say 30 and 20, I want to increase my bids 15%. Anything between 20 and 10, I want to increase my bids maybe 25%. Anything between 10 and 1, maybe I'll increase my bids like 30% or 35, depending on what my strategy is. Now doing this, really helps to optimize your bids correctly. Doing it on a frequent basis, maybe once or twice a week, is a good way to do it. Now, there's certain things I want to adjust more frequently, and I don't want to make huge adjustments for. And what that is spend high to low with orders. So if I have tons of spend and I got a good amount of orders, that's not something I want to make huge adjustments on. And the reason behind that is if a lot of times they're huge sales drivers. So I can go spend high to low or orders high to low to make the biggest difference. If I have spend high to low, I have something that's spending tons of money and not making good performance, then adjusting that down will help my performance, a lot quicker than adjusting a bunch of small spending keywords, right? And if it's a high order campaign that's driving tons of orders, and let's say I cut the bid way down, what's going to happen there is I'm going to cut the performance of that campaign way down too, and it's going to hurt my overall performance. So when it's stuff that's driving a ton of orders, I like to make slow incremental adjustments. Now, this account isn't a very huge account. This one, the best keyword right here is getting 18 orders over, let's say, the last 30-day period here. But still, that's my best keyword. I don't want to make huge adjustments here. And let's see, the target A cost is 40%. I'm at 34.6 here. So basically, I want to raise my bid. I'm going to do it just a little bit at a time. Let's say right now my cost per click is $1.02. My bid's $1.24. That's just fine with me. My bid's up a little bit. Hopefully, it continues to start to perform, and that's a good amount. All right. So all these ones I want to make very slow incremental adjustments on to not, jeopardize all my really good orders. All right. And these ones that are high spending and high clicks, you want to adjust these more often. Like I said, with the 10% conversion rate, then I need to kind of adjust these keywords every 10 clicks. So maybe what you'll do is set up a threshold. This is what I like to do. Stuff with over a certain amount of clicks, I like to adjust more frequently. Let's say with these ones, I know if this is over the last 30 days, which it is, with 300 clicks here, I'm getting 10 clicks a day. So really, I want to adjust this keyword every day or two, right? And same thing with this one, every day or two. So maybe anything over 100 clicks, I want to make sure I'm adjusting, every 2 or 3 days. But then the stuff with less, maybe I'll adjust less. We're very data focused in me and my agency, all my team members, and really focus on the data to make those decisions. I do think that's a good way to operate. And there you have it. There is a quick bid optimization in Amazon Seller Central Campaign Manager. In my next video, I'm going to show you when and why to launch new campaigns. And now you're equipped with actionable strategies to tweak those bids and maximize every dollar spent. But remember, the world of Amazon selling is as dynamic as it is exciting, and staying ahead means evolving with every new trend and insight. If you found this tutorial helpful and are hungry for more ways to boost your Amazon selling game, be sure to subscribe to this channel, your gateway to insider knowledge and tips to transform clicks into sales. And before you go, dive deep into my other detailed tutorials that YouTube's algorithm thinks you're a good fit for right over here. I'm Andy Craig again. I'll see you in the next video.